Hello everybody and welcome to the first ever Ruth Lee podcast. My name is Sarah and we're here today to talk about a really exciting new product that we've developed over the last few years. Ryan, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, so my name's Ryan Foley and I'm the product manager for XR Solutions with Ruth Lee, so I look after anything mixed and virtual reality.
So we should probably touch on that. Mixed and virtual reality seems a bit of a step away from what we normally do at Ruth Lee.
So it is a big change from what we're used to doing in terms of manufacturing mannequins. So I'm sure lots of people will be familiar with virtual reality where you put a headset on and you see a fully virtual world. With mixed reality, it's a similar sort of concept, but we can actually see through the headset and we overlay graphics on top. So what we do in the real world affects what we see in the headset then.
Oh, cool. So mixed reality is more like overlaying something in the headset onto the real world.
That's correct, yeah. So in this case, what we do is we take one of our training mannequins and we project what I like to call a digital skin over the top of it. And as we interact with the mannequin and move the mannequin, that affects the digital skin that we see in the headset then.
So that essentially is what Ruth Lee 360 is.
Yeah.
Like how would you, so if you're someone who's not a tech person, me, how would you describe to somebody what Ruth Lee 360 is?
So Ruth Lee 360 is, as I said, a mixed reality project, and it projects a digital skin on top of a mannequin using the headset that we've got here. So we put the headset on, we've got the cameras on that we can see through there. So we can see the real world around us, we can interact with the real world, but we've got a digital skin overlay on the mannequin there.
Oh, cool.
And all that does is increases realism and it humanises our mannequins because obviously they're canvas and you know, they look like a person, they're shaped like a person, but they don't really
have that sort of
person,
real looking thing. I suppose that's always the payoff, isn't it? With like our training mannequins are rescue mannequins, so brilliant for practicing to move bodies around and stuff, but you want that emotional attachment to them as well. And we hear all the time about from particularly fire chiefs and commanders that their mannequins do not get looked after by their staff. They get dragged around and all the rest of it, whereas this hopefully makes them feel a little bit more like a person, a bit more like a casualty.
I think a lot of the feedback that we get from customers is that our mannequins are obviously drawable, and that's great, that's for what they're designed to do. It makes it very easy for trainees, I should say, to disassociate with the mannequin and sort of understand that it is just a mannequin, it's not a real person. So by adding those realistic features, the realistic look, the eye movements, the breathing, it just adds that human element to it. It makes people take a step back and think that this is actually a casualty I'm dealing with.
So they'll actually like follow you around, the visual, like the eyesight and stuff will follow you.
They do, yeah. So it's
quite scary,
quite terrifying at times. It takes some people a lot of getting used to. So as you move around the mannequin, they will look at you, and if you get really close, they will sort of acknowledge that you're there. So like a real person would do, their eyes will track you and they'll sort of pay attention to you. So as I said, it just adds that realistic sort of element to it then, and humanises our mannequins.
Yeah, definitely.
It's unfortunately one of the things that our mannequins don't do very well because they have to be durable, but they don't look very human other than the shape. So.
Yeah. Oh, excellent. So, I mean, it sounds really exciting, and obviously we're really excited about it at Ruth Lee because it just could be really transformational for training, couldn't it? The way things are done and stuff. So, what? This is the headset for it. So what actually do people get? What is the program?
As part of the sort of starter package that we do for Ruth Lee 360, you obviously get the hardware. This isn't something we produce, so we work with the manufacturer, which is HTC Vive. Okay. Customers may recognise the name, that they're well known in sort of the mobile device space, so they make mobile phones and tablets as well, and they're very well known for making virtual reality and mixed reality headsets. So customers who order it will get the headset with the tracker that we've got here and the controllers there as well. The actual Ruth Lee 360 then is a software package which goes onto the headset as well. Okay. So that's the section where we've actually developed that and built that for this hardware.
Yeah. And the first one's called Trauma Lens, is that right?
Trauma Lens, yeah. So the initial focus for us, following the research and discussions we've had with customers, we'd seen a lot of gaps in the sort of paramedics and higher education training of paramedics.
Yeah.
So we've very much focused on that initially. So the Trauma Lens, the first sort of release version 1 of Ruth Lee 360, focuses on that. And there's 3 scenarios which are sort of paramedics and first responder focused, really. The first scenario is around trauma treatment. So it runs through a full process of assessing trauma on a lady's leg, what the processes are. We run through that and how we get the best outcome for her. It even includes things like encouraging to lift the legs to prevent shock as well, just to keep the sort of
so you're still handling the mannequin as well at the
same
time.
So that one of the key things with Ruth Lee 360 is that it's that interactivity with the mannequin. So we're still getting hands-on with the mannequin, we're moving it about, but we've
You're
got
seeing
that
the-
additional sort of training opportunity on top of it
Yeah.
as well. With scenario 2, we've got the Glasgow Coma Scale, which was quite a shocking one when we did the research for it. A lot of customers, and I know higher education as well, will train for this currently by handing out laminated cards.
I don't know what Glasgow Coma Scale is. What is Glasgow Coma Scale?
So Glasgow Coma Scale is a method to assess someone's level of consciousness.
Okay.
It's primarily used...
Like have the head injuries and stuff.
Head injuries predominantly, yeah. So where someone's been in a trauma injury, so say, for example, an arterial road traffic collision, where someone may have sustained head injuries, but we're not too sure what level of consciousness. It's a step-by-step process you can go through to assess someone's level of consciousness. So it then helps to guide treatment both from that initial first response right the way through to hospital care. So it's something that's deployed both by first responders, paramedics, as well as hospital professionals as well.
But I suppose that's probably been traditionally quite hard to train for previously, because unless someone's a very good actor, but you still got this sort of like actual bodily responses that you're not going to be able to
Yeah, so it's one of those things that we get a lot of feedback on when people tend to use real people as sort of training mannequins almost. Where real people try and help fill in the gaps and sort of help people and assist people, and they're not always able to replicate some of the things that you may see with someone who's sort of got impaired consciousness. As I said before, a lot of places at the moment, they will train by handing out laminated cards, which sort of give everyone the answers to each step of the process, which isn't very realistic, and especially when people are doing it, I think back to my sort of student days, it ends up becoming a bit of a sort of chuckle fest, really, and people don't tend to take it very seriously.
It's that thing of like, when you physically do something, you get that muscle memory sort of thing. When you physically go through the process, you're much more likely to remember it in a real scenario, aren't you?
Yeah, so a lot of the reason for us opting for a mixed reality solution is there's a big chunk of research which has been done in terms of training using virtual reality and mixed reality. And a lot of that research points to the increase in retention of information and retention of processes from doing this. And a lot of it is just that repetition of actually going through a process and being able to see that process in front of your eyes, as opposed to having that sort of dictated to you from a PowerPoint or from a sheet of paper or a guidebook. Being able to replicate that in real time as you're learning those skills really helps with that repetition going forward and that retention of information as well. So I think that's one of the key reasons we opted for a mixed reality sort of solution.
So there was traumatic injury, Glasgow Coma Scale, and the third one
is chest auscultation. So auscultation is the use of a stethoscope. Can tell us a lot of information about various different health conditions. Initially, we've put a focus on chest auscultation, so we're very much focused on airway conditions. And this is sort of born from a lot of feedback from customers where a lot of the existing sort of mannequins and systems to be able to train this aren't very dynamic, and they don't really go through the placement properly, and they sort of assume someone's got a base level of knowledge of stethoscope use anyway. So with our training session, we go right the way through from the actual stethoscope itself, the sections of the stethoscope, and how they're used and when we deploy them. We then meet Harry, who's the digital skin in this case, who we use. We learn about the various points on his chest, so we do the anterior, so the front, we do the posterior, so we do his back, and we do the lateral underneath his arms as well. So it gives us the full range of areas we'd listen into. Unfortunately for Harry, we then give him some health conditions.
Poor Harry.
I know, yeah. So we give him asthma, COPD. So for example, myself, I suffer from asthma, and it was quite interesting to listen to.
So the sound will play through the headset?
Yeah, so the headset almost acts like your stethoscope. So you've got the stethoscope on your controller, which you're able to locate, and you've got speakers built into either side of the headset, which play right by you.
So you're going to hear it straight away?
Yeah, so it replicates the sound of the sort of feeling of having a stethoscope on. And you're then able to locate the right places on the different areas of the casualty. You're also then able to listen to the different conditions. So as I said, you've got asthma, COPD. You've got stridor, where you've got obstructions or blockages in the airway, which is quite common when you've got accidents as well. And quite common, I'm told, from sort of like nerve agents and things where people's airways can get blocked. So there's a few different scenarios there where people can listen into. And it's just, again, it's that repetition of being able to take the information on board, apply that information in real time straight away, and then be able to listen to those different conditions as well. It just better prepares people for when they're actually making.
I mean, it's really cool because they've got the mannequin, so they've got the hands-on experience, they've got the visual imagery to see that it's a person now, not a mannequin. So they're going to look at it and it looks like a person, and they've also got the sound element as well. So they've got like multi-sensory training in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the sort of great advantages of using mixed reality. So one of the reasons we've gone down that route, obviously traditional virtual reality is great for producing those scenarios, but with mixed reality we're able to use actual props and environments as well. So a lot of our customers will invest a lot of time and money to have realistic props. So for example, paramedics will have ambulances, they'll have stretchers, they'll have wheelchairs. So being able to replicate those in virtual reality, there's not a lot of value there to that because they've already got those physical assets there already.
Yeah.
So by using mixed reality, we get the sort of bonuses of virtual reality training and that type of training, but we're able to use real world environments, and that helps with immersion as well. Being able to see through the headset from the sort of feedback we've had also helps with having those conversations. So a lot of our customers will know that these training sessions don't tend to be one-to-one. We tend to have a group of people in there. And being able to see everyone and still have those actual conversations with people as well is great because in a virtual reality environment, you're very much closed off from everyone around you, the environment around you. So,
but that was a really cool thing that I remember we talked about previously, that the you can cast to something, so a TV or a mobile device. Do you want to explain what that is?
Even with the pass-through element where we've seen the real world around us, we can then send that image to a TV like the one behind us, for example. And all that does really is it allows people to see what the trainers what the trainees looking at. And it allows the trainers to see, are they actually looking at the right places? Are they sort of taking the right information on? So it's really good, and it's great for feedback as well, going backwards, so we can actually save that cast if we want to, and take screenshots as well. So if the trainee, for example, wants to run a session on their own, but wants to record that session for feedback at a later date, we're able to save that onto the headset and then export that as well.
And they can presumably assess from that as well, and if they've got recordings of it, they can assess how a trainer could assess afterwards.
Exactly, yeah. So it just gives that flexibility then. So it allows people to train both with a group but in their own time as well, but still be able to receive that feedback and go show those recordings. It's also great to show development as well. So if you've got someone who's new to one of the concepts that were being trained, you can record their first session, and then after they've done some more training, you can be able to see that progress.
Hopefully see the progress.
You'd hope so, yeah. So you're able to see that progress then. So I think being able to record sessions and record that information is really positive, and it's something again that we get a lot of feedback on, that it's that accountability for trainers to know that their trainees are learning those skills and building those skills as they go along. Because if you ask people, they'll generally tell you that they have taken things on board. It's one thing to say that, and another to actually physically evidence that up as well.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so I mean that all sounds really amazing. I'm sure lots of people are quite excited about it. Who is this sort of aimed at really as a customer, do you think?
So the initial sort of target market for us is very much sort of paramedics and first responders, as well as sort of higher education. So we work really closely with Wrexham University, who have got a paramedic science course, I should say there. And we spoke to them a lot about where they feel there's gaps in their ability to train people at the moment. And as it happened, that mirrored a lot of the feedback we were getting from our paramedics customers, especially sort of ambulance and heart teams as well. Who would identify gaps in people's knowledge as they're coming through those higher education courses. So predominantly it's a combination of classroom learning, so it really helps to get people and students more engaged with classroom,
which we know is important with young people,
because it's very easy to switch off in a classroom environment, as I know myself. So being able to, as I said, do the casting and have something that's a bit more dynamic and interactive really gets people engaged. The great thing with that as well, myself and Sarah and some more of the team from Ruth Lee were able to do a customer visit recently and use the headset in outdoor environments as well.
Outreach, thank you.
So where you've got nice cover from direct sunlight, so for example we used it in a forest, we were able to use it in confined space, which was absolutely terrifying, and it's not something I'd like to do again. But we were able to deploy it in those real world environments.
I mean, I was surprised how many different places we were able to try it in, because like you say, we did the forest, so there was like sort of like dappled light, wasn't there? We went up to the top of a quarry, didn't we, which was quite fairly bright up there, but stable conditions, I suppose. Cloudy, North Wales, let's face it.
Yeah, so
and then into the, well, you went into the, I didn't go into the confined area. You went into the confined space area, so like dark tunnels, and it worked pretty well in all those environments, didn't it?
Yeah, it just allows people to deploy it in like, as I say, with outreach, they've got very realistic setups there already. So the quarry, for example, there's like an RTC where a minibus has gone off the side of the quarry. So being able to deploy it in that situation, like for the GCS, for example, where you deploy it in a situation like that for a new casualty is excellent. It really helps reinforce the learning from that as well.
We always talk with the Manikins, don't we, about making your scenarios realistic, and that's the point. So this adds on even further onto that, doesn't it? That idea. So you're in a realistic setting where you could, expect to have to do those skills. And now you're going to be able to see a casualty in better situations as well, like more clearly as a casualty rather than a mannequin.
Yeah, and I think it's just sort of builds on what we do as a company really well anyway. So with Ruth Lee, obviously our focus is always to improve training and to make training as realistic as possible.
Yeah.
So it just builds on that company ethos really, and just adds that element to our mannequins. I think one of the things that I'm most proud of with this is that one of the core goals for the project was to make something that doesn't require specific mannequin, I should say, and that's accessible to all our customers.
Yeah.
So the software utilises these vibe trackers, which we place at different points on the mannequin, and that can be deployed with any of our standard duty range of mannequins, so that you don't need to buy a specific mannequin. There's no specific technology that goes into that. A lot of our customers who already have a lot of our mannequins anyway, are able to deploy it on their existing mannequins anyway, so it makes it very easy to deploy and very easy to use then.
And I suppose that in the future, the beauty of this sort of technology is that it can be updated, refreshed, improved, new exciting things come up available, and that can be whether different mannequins can be used. I'm thinking specifically maybe children mannequins in the future, for example, but also like different scenarios. There's like so many different ways this could go, really, isn't there?
Yeah, so I think one of the beauty and one of the difficult things with software in general is that is knowing when to stop. So we sort of made a conscious decision of what we class as version 1, so the focus very much on paramedics. Yeah. But we've got a full list of other scenarios.
Wish list.
Discussed with customers and that we want to develop ourselves as well.
Because that's a good point, because, I mean, I'll big you up now, Ryan. You've been doing this project now for 2 years?
2.5 years.
2.5 years. And a lot of that early work was speaking to customers about what they needed from something like this. What they needed from training, first of all, generally, but then what this could do for them, wasn't it?
Yeah, so we sort of, when I come into the project, we'd had the sort of bones of the concept, really, which had come about from discussions with customers. And I think the 3 sort of pillars of developing this were the need for better diversity, the need for more realism with our mannequins, and also the need for more interaction with our mannequins as well. And how could we do that with a really simple to deploy solution? So we started those conversations off, and as I say, we've got a list of tons of different scenarios that people have discussed and mentioned. That in this case we haven't had the time to develop, but because we've now got version 1 out, we're able to shift focus and develop those new scenarios.
Because different customers will want different things, I guess, because you've tested with people like Outreach and Trauma Resus, I think, were another group of people that helped us. But also a couple of hospitals have helped, haven't they, in development? So they're going to want different things. Yeah,
so we did some work with the Robert Jones and Agnes Hunt Hospital in Gabowen, who are predominantly an orthopaedic hospital. They help, especially with war veterans as well.
Okay.
And they would like to see functionality in this in the future to do patient handling as well. So we'll be working with them, hopefully, to sort of develop that functionality as well. There's a lot of potential for us to go in different directions. I think it'll help cater to a lot of our existing customer base, but also help us reach customers who we've not potentially been able to help with our solutions before. So we'll continue to develop it. Obviously, there's customers will know there'll be changes in legislation and new training as well. As our customers will know, as we get in any incidents, accidents and things happen, emergency services and frontline responders are always learning from each scenario. So as they learn and they're able to provide that feedback on things they may need to be able to train better, we'll be able to build that into RL360 as well. So I'm quite excited to see when we sit down in 2 or 3 more years' time what more we can do with it as well.
Yeah, really exciting. Okay, well, I suppose the main thing we should finish off with really is like, how do people find out more and see more of this fantastic, innovation? Because I imagine this is something you want to see and try to get the idea, really. Yeah,
so at the moment we've got a landing page set up on our website, so I'd definitely guide people to there, and that's got a bit more sort of exact information
for the product,
the product and what it can do and what the capabilities are. There's a link on there to be able to sign up to request for a demo. We're able to give those demos in person. We're also starting to work on being able to give those demos online as well for those customers who are a bit more remote or a bit far away from us. With those demos, we'll be able to give you a better idea of what you see through the headset, be able to see the software working in real time, which is one thing for us to be sort of talk about it today, and you'll see the information on the website and obviously the video we did with Outreach as well. Of it in use, but it's another thing to actually put the headset on and try it. And
definitely. Sometimes sort of like seeing is believing, isn't it? If you try it yourself, you sort of really know how valuable that is as a learning tool.
Yeah, it's certainly the biggest impact is having the headset on and trying it, and we did our first sort of public announcements of this at the emergency service show in 2024, and I was rushed off my feet.
It was quite funny.
2 days
Ryan
of people
just basically was sat, but not even sat, kind of kneeling on the floor, constantly showing people how to do this. So it was really exciting for people, wasn't it?
The feedback we had from that was incredible. So people were a bit skeptical initially of seeing it, but once they tried the headset on, it was.
It's interesting seeing people's reactions, because I suppose if you're a seasoned trainer of first response, like you're used to sort of like handling mannequins and sometimes even high fidelity mannequins, but when it looks at you and it's breathing and even speaks to you, that's a whole different thing, isn't it? So.
Yeah, I think we shot quite a few people at ESS, and there was a lot of examples of people trying it and then rushing off to go and find their friends saying, you've got to see this. It's certainly a talking point when people try it.
Oh, awesome. Well, thanks, Ryan.
Hope
everybody's enjoyed our first podcasting experience, but look out for more, because we're going to be doing some more of these in the coming weeks and months. So we'll see you there.